What do you think? Do you think that the author has given more of the side for why people should keep exotic pets? Not? So can you go back in here and highlight what are some of the reasons it gives to not keep livestock?
Right here, we got Poodle attacked in Norway in 2009, and more than 1,000 escaped, attacked other innocent healthy wild pets.
The article gives more for why you should have exotic pets and pay that, but it gives more for why they aren't that.
It's maybe too much to handle.
Okay, now I want you to go back and can you highlight some of the reasons and examples that it
I don't know if it's able to you when you go.
So you're saying this is an example of bias? People who don't follow rules are the ones that we think about when something bad happens. How is bad used in its context of success?
Something bad happened. And guess what?
Who's speaking? There's quotes there.
The Major's mother.
Major, who's Major? Take a look at that.
Major's temporary.
I think we're at age 11. Okay, so Major's mother owns this lion, right? So, would you say that when she's saying that, when she says that sentence, is she saying people who don't follow the rules are the ones that we hear about when something bad happens?
That's bias.
From her perspective, why is that an example of bias?
Because she's saying that people that don't follow the rules kind of like people who look at you and she might be
So you're saying she's trying to blame it on other people? Good job. She's blaming it on
And here's a true adult pet chimpanzee brutally attacked the front in 19 published the Barry, keeping permits and pets permits for chimpanzees and monkeys. If you own a zoo, you want to have been owned by a zoo.
So what do you think about the way that the article, the author, Natalie Smith, when she wrote this, would you say that there's a little bias in here, or some bias? And which side is she leaning towards?
Doesn't matter how the one says here. Don't own like exotic pets.
Did she ever suggest this? Looks like Nick is saying it now too. So what we're gonna do now
It's bias when you're not choosing. That's not bias. It's not like bias. It's not safe. And that's like you know safety comes first like many vehicles.
what I want to do now is I want you to let's just each person give their opinion on what do you think about in terms of, is this article bias? Is there not a lot of bias, or is there extreme bias? So Zach, what are you thinking right now about this article?
It was a 4 because they said a lot about owning pets, but on the front page they only said like right here was about
The unlikely companions. Yeah, if you turn to the front page, like where Zach's talking about on page 4,
this is all this was just prohibiting, but then all of this page
about all the bad things that can
I
happen.
get it with 3.
So why are you giving it a 3 and Zach gave it a 4? What evidence is there to support that? And your head up, please.
Giving one side, and a little bias meters, they give another side mostly. But they give supporting reasons for that side.
So
Like,
this-
this is
So, Michael, are you saying that this does suggest the other side, but it doesn't support it with any evidence?
I think it very says the other side.
It's heavily up towards
You
the
can
other
do
side.
it, and the thing right here is it's trapping safety comes first, so you can do it,
But they're not really giving as many supporting reasons for that one. And Nick, what do you say?
I'd say 5.
You think it's a 5?
Yeah, because they gave a lot of bias.
Uh-huh.
I didn't hear much about the other side, but when I did, it was just like bad things about it, not the good.
So they really, what you're saying is they really just didn't support the other side very much.
just support this side.
Now, in order for it to be a 5, we said it would need to have insults and hyperboles. Does it insult the other side? Like, does it say people who think having wild animals at
This is in a
home are
million.
they're stupid? They don't know what they're talking about. No, so we might not want to rate it quite there, but you're all right in that this article might be I want you to go ahead. I just want to rate it a 5 because it's not insulting. The author was good enough. And if you look on page, if you go back, flip it to the back side, and it says, and I think I might have lost it now, but it says somewhere in the text, see, finding the bad rap in the 3rd column, go up to that last sentence. It says, some owners then neglect or abandon their pets. And remember when we said use some or many, they're being objective.
Using facts.
So there is some objective language in there because they don't say all owners. If they said all owners neglect their pets, that would be a little bit more emotional because they would sort of be exaggerating, right? They don't know that all, and they use some facts. So we're going to go ahead and fill out the front together. First thing we want to do is, from whose perspective is this written? Is it written from the Majors, the Peppers?
And the Tony.
Well, Natalie Smith is the author. What perspective did she choose? Majors. So we're going to record Majors in the message. And what was the main idea of this text in a sentence? Not the topic. We want
Pet or not pet?
pet or not a pet.
Danger.
So would you say that this was a compare and contrast, a cause and effect, or a problem and solution structure? Well, let's eliminate.
Well, it can't be cause and effect. Or might. It might. It can't be compare and contrast because it didn't compare the other side.
So it's
I think it's a cause and effect.
The cause and effect has
Said-
to be.
Yeah, it said, it would say something like,
It's a problem solution.
listen to Zach when he's talking.
they abandoned and lost and they blame the pets. after that they said the people who don't follow the rules are willing to get papers.
I would agree kind of with Zach, what Zach is
problem and
saying. And a problem and solution is kind of part of cause and effect. So you could write that you feel like it's a problem and solution, and what that means then is our main idea, like we learned before, it has to include that. So I'm going to say that I think the main idea is some people own exotic animals, so it has become a debate. Doesn't that seem like what this article was about? Was like, so some people have exotic animals, so it has become, I'm going to add a word, a hot debate. Like people get very heated when they're in that discussion about it. And what do you think the purpose of this article was?
Why animals
Exotic pets.
So are you saying this was kind of like to persuade?
persuade
So to persuade to not buy exotic pets.
bias.
And bias meter, that's where, remember what I said, this is 2 points, 8 points. So I'm really looking for,
wrong for Auckland viewers. I think I thought some people thought it was 2, but they gave a lot of supporting reasons why.
I'm looking for your evidence. I'm really looking at how did you support your judgment
It's just okay
using
if it's wrong,
evidence.
but it was supported super
Because
well.
everybody's going to feel a little different. The important thing, Michael, and we've talked about this before, is to remember we want to separate our point of view and our opinion when we're reading the author's opinion.
But
Okay?
then this is when we put our opinion in.
This is when we just rate the way the article was written. It's almost as if we were peer editing and writing. So, because what we're doing is we're examining the author's craft. So I want you to circle or write in, because you can have it in between. You can have a 2 or a 4. And I want you to decide where does this rate on the bias meter? And I want you to try to give me 4 pieces of evidence. So if you say it uses emotional language, give me an example. And I usually just jot down my evidence like this. I make bullets. So remember, like a 3, you could say some.
Spilled the eggs and Josh caught
Alright, I might write, we can do this first one kind of together. I rated a 3, and I would say some consideration of other side. And I would use the example, unlikely companions. It says, having a wild animal for a pet isn't that unusual. Having a pet isn't that unusual. And I'm quoting from the text, so I'm using my quotations. But what did it do? Nick, you kind of noted, it did give some consideration, but what did it mostly focus on? I think you all picked up on that. So then we would say more on one side. And then can you come up with a couple, Zach, what were some of the reasons? You didn't use hyperbole. I want you to use your resources in the room when you're telling. If it's there, you should start with it. So you could write that. No hyperbole. I'm going to write, it had some objective. It does. You can add that word up there too. Over some objective language. Thank you boys for doing this for me. Can you copy things up nice and neat right here? With your article underneath. I want you to keep your eyes on it. Just like this. And is that your highlighter, Zach? Didn't you start reading that before? I thought you had already read it. The power of your suggestion. Here. It would be here. But I would.